Hi everyone, Samantha here from holisticwellness.ca, online nutritionist helping women lose weight and balance their hormones with delicious food. Today I'm sharing with you what I eat in a day. I get asked all the time about what my personal diet looks like, so I'm really excited to share with you all the things I eat throughout the day. So let's dive in. So let's start with the morning. So the morning always consists of lots of water. I typically drink about 500 mils when I first wake up, and sometimes I gotta tell you, it can be challenging to get my water intake in. But when I wake up in the morning, that is really one of my number one priorities. So 500 mils of water first thing in the morning. And then after I drink that water, I dive into something nice and warm, or maybe even hot. So that could be a coffee, or it could be like an elixir or a tea. So it kind of varies. It just really depends on what I'm feeling. So for example, I might just wake up and have like a warm ginger tea, or I might feel more like I want to have a coffee in the morning. And if I do have coffee, it will typically be the 4-sigmatic mushroom coffee, which is really delicious. And what I do is I put that in the blender with some hot water. I add a scoop of collagen and I add a tablespoon of coconut butter. I whip that up and I just make this really frothy, collagen-rich coffee, and that's really how I love to enjoy my coffee in the morning. So if it doesn't happen to be coffee, like I said, it might be tea, or it might just be some warm water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar and maybe a little bit of lemon juice in there. So that's kind of what the liquid situation looks like in the morning. So it starts off with some water and then moves on to something warm, something hot. And then from there, it's breakfast. So breakfast also varies for me, and it can really depend on my schedule and depending, how much time I might have, but I never skip it. I always make sure that I eat it. And if I know that my schedule is going to be really busy, then I know that the night before I'm preparing something so that I can at least have something ready to go in the morning. So typically my go-to is always eggs, pasture-raised, grass-fed, organic. I love eggs first thing in the morning. They're really protein-rich, which is what you want first thing in the morning. You don't want to be having all these high carbohydrate foods. You don't want to be having all this granola or cereal or bagels, because that's basically sugar, and it's going to cause a lot of instability with your blood sugar, and it's going to make you really hungry in like an hour. And we all know what that feels like. So typically eggs. Sometimes I may have a chia pudding, and this chia pudding is just blended with some collagen, some cacao powder, and I've just topped it with some fresh berries, and it was also mixed with some coconut milk. So something like that, even as tasty and delicious as it is, the truth is it's not always that filling for me. So if I am gonna have a chia pudding, I may have that with like some like a smoothie on the side. So this smoothie is got some spinach and some chia seeds, some wild blueberries, protein powder, almond butter, and some coconut milk. So there's a lot of protein and a lot of fat, and there is not a lot of fruit in here. So we're keeping the sugar low and increasing the fat and the protein, which is going to keep me satiated throughout the morning. Typically when I eat eggs in the morning, I will either have it with some avocado, so really good healthy fat, and I might add in some spinach and just make like a really quick scramble, or might even have some leftover roasted vegetables from the night before, and I'll mix in that with my eggs and have some avocado. So again, really protein rich and fat rich first thing in the morning, trying to get those veggies in as well. With my smoothies, my protein powders that I use, those I always alternate, and I really suggest for my clients to alternate them as well. You don't want to get so used to just using one kind of protein powder. So my protein powder right now, my go-to is actually a beef protein. It's very hypoallergenic, and it's just really my go-to right now because I'm not using any whey proteins. Whey proteins used to be my go-to in the past for sure. I really love the Progressive organic whey because it's grass-fed, and so I'm just off of dairy currently, so just being really conscious of that. So no whey, but I am using the beef protein. I sometimes will use the Juice Plus Complete, which is actually a fermented soy. So I know there's a lot of skepticism about using soy, but again, this is something I use on rotation. It's important to rotate your proteins. So this is a fermented soy and it's non-GMO. And if you have low estrogen, which my estrogen levels are a little bit lower, so using something like soy is actually really beneficial for that. So that's a really great blend. I really love this one. And then also collagen. That's definitely one of my other go-to protein sources. It's easy to mix into something hot or to something cold and to add it to your smoothies and make elixirs with it. So I really love the collagen, and that gives you a lot of good protein in there, and it's very beautifying. And then throughout the day, lots of water. And then when it comes to something like lunch and dinner, they're pretty similar. So you'll notice that there's going to be like lots of veggies for lunch or for dinner. And basically I'm just gonna top that with some really good protein. So I may have some turkey for dinner, or maybe some chicken breast. Lunch, maybe like some teriyaki salmon, which I have here. This smells so good, I can't wait to eat it after. And we'll definitely add in some good fats here. So maybe some avocados. My veggies will definitely be cooked in some really good quality fat, whether that's grass-fed butter or maybe some coconut oil or some ghee or drizzling on some olive oil. So there's always some really good healthy fats and healthy proteins and some veggies, lots of veggies. And then definitely sweet potato. This is something that's always in the mix and always on rotation in my diet. I love sweet potato. It's loaded with so much vitamin A, and it's got a lot of minerals. It's just really mineral rich, and it's a really good carbohydrate. It's a slow releasing carbohydrate, and you'll notice that there's not like rice or quinoa or a lot of grains or anything that you see here. I actually don't eat grains. I keep them out of my diet as I try to be more conscious. I'm following something that's a little bit more of an autoimmune protocol, because I do have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition. So keeping the grains out is really important for my personal health. And I do try to encourage a lot of my clients to go that route as well. I also don't eat too many beans and legumes because digestively, they just don't really agree with me. I may have something like some lentils every now and again. Sometimes I will have some tempeh, which is fermented soybeans. So sometimes I will include that as a protein source. So it really is about variety. The point is that you want to have majority plant-based because you want to eat a lot of plants and nutrients, but at the same time, you just want to have really good quality protein. And so those are my sources of protein that I include for my personal health and wellness. And a few other things to keep in mind is that my diet changes based on the seasons. So this is something that, especially with a lot of the more salads and the lighter greens, I will gravitate more towards these foods in the summertime, and especially things like peaches and wild blueberries. I love eating those in the summer months, and they're really fresh and they're local. And then in the winter months, that's when I gravitate more towards soups and stews and things like spaghetti squash or acorn squash, and using some of those more seasonal foods. So I really tend to gravitate to foods based on the seasons. So that's really overall what my diet looks like. Definitely include some teas throughout the day. Nettle tea is a really great iron-rich, mineral-rich tea. It's great to have in the morning. I love yerba mate and green tea with ginger, really great. And this is kind of what my diet looks like. So it does vary day to day based on my schedule. The point is to get in as much local and organic and high quality foods as much as possible. I don't typically snack throughout the day. I eat 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And some days on my workout days, I may include like a post-workout shake. But otherwise, it's 3 square meals a day, lots of protein, lots of fat, lots of vegetables. And that is how I fuel my body. And this is what I eat in a day. Oh, I forgot to talk about chocolate. Can't leave that out. I forgot. We gotta let people know that some delicious healthy chocolate is good to include. It actually has a ton of magnesium, and if you get a really good quality one that doesn't have a lot of sugar and additives, it can actually be really beneficial for you. So I love the Alter Eco. This is one of my favorite ones, the burnt caramel. It's delicious. So sometimes as a little sweet treat, this is what I may have at the end of the day. And other brands that I really love are Giddy Yo-Yo. They make some really great chocolate, and a little bit of sweetness. I definitely like to include that. So I call myself a baking enthusiast. I do love getting in the kitchen and making muffins and brownies and cookies, and I love to healthify them, make them gluten-free, and make sure that they can be as healthy as possible, because you know, we need a little sweetness every now and again. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them below in the comments. And for more amazing recipes and information, head on over to holisticwellness.ca. Thanks so much for watching.